What's happening, guys? BJ here, coming at you for a very quick video. And in today's video, guys, what we're going to talk about is change. Why is it so often that people wait until crisis or betrayal or upset or disease or illness or something bad for them to happen before they decide to make the change? Now, why is change such a hard thing in our life? We always make up our mind and we're like, yep, I'm gonna change today. Well, it's interesting because let's say, for example, we're looking at a river and we can see one side and the other side. And in between, there's rocks and there's rapids and there's tides and slippery surfaces and sticks in the water and just hazards. And immediately when we get there, we feel an overwhelming amount of uncertainty, and that uncertainty makes us feel fear and overwhelm and all those things that are not going to make you feel good. So our automatic response is survival, so we often turn away. But what if you were to walk across? Now, there's a quote from Deng Xiaoping, who was a part of the People's Republic movement in China around the same time that Mao Zedong was ruling. And he made a really inspirational quote, which is, to cross the river, you need to feel the stones. Now, what does that mean? So essentially, in order for us to move through a high degree of uncertainty, we must feel with our body. We must feel a way through. Now remember, we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Now, if they are the same thoughts, then we're making the same choices, we're getting the same experience, we're getting the same actions and behavior, and therefore we're getting the same emotions. And those emotions are then getting programmed into us, how we live our life, and therefore it's going to affect our personality. And in a sense, that's going to affect who we are and who we become in the future, and who we choose to associate with, and the girlfriend or the wife we marry, the friendship circles that we have, everything down to how we influence our own children. So if you're sitting there and you're just praying and wishing that something's going to change, I've got bad news for you. You're not going to change unless you raise your awareness or something changes within you. So how we think and how we act then influences our personality. So it makes sense that if we keep thinking and feeling and we get into that feedback loop, then we're only setting ourselves up for failure, because by the time we hit 35, those unconscious behaviors and those unconscious patterns become solidified and cemented inside of our psychology. So it's very hard to break those chemical synapses in our brains that have led to those behaviors and actions. Now, there's a way of habit formation, and there's 3 steps to it. The number one thing is the trigger. We need some form of stimulus or something like a reminder that will switch on a part of our brain that will make us desire something. Now, the second thing is a routine. Now, when we get into a routine, it starts to become an unconscious behavior where we just do things and it just becomes a pattern in our life. And we do it blindly. Then the third thing is the reward. So what form of serotonin or dopamine reward pleasure are we getting from this action and behavior that is going to further reinforce and make us want to do it over and over again? Now, I recently read a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, and he explains that there's 4 steps. There is a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. Now, he said that you can create good or bad habits based on these 4 things: obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying for a good habit. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about 3 reasons why people aren't able to change. And the number one thing is the body. Now, people's bodies are the things holding them back because of their programmed thoughts in their brain, that when they start to go into a change or an uncertainty, they will then relapse to their old way of thinking that hasn't served them. Now, Often you hear, I can't do it, I don't have enough energy, I'm lazy, I'm not meant for this, I'm inadequate. Those are the things that come up. The second thing is the environment. Now, when we're around an environment where it doesn't promote a lot of positive habits and motivation towards things, then we often create excuses like I have to be somewhere, I have to see someone, I have to travel to this place, I can't do it. Then we have the third thing, which is time. Now, how do we actually go beyond making excuses about being time poor or time exhausted? And that's the real difference that's going to obviously lead to that transformation and change that you're after. He said that if you can be bigger than your body, bigger than the environment, and more expansive than time, then that's when true transcendence or higher levels of consciousness happen. And that's the sweet spot with the present moment that you want to be in. Now, the trick is, how can you be bigger than your body, your environment, and your mind? How can you actually start to feel emotionally abundant, full of joy, the best body you've ever dreamed of, the most amount of money, the true love of your life partner, before the actual event has happened in the physical world? He explains that there's a delay in the metaphysical world, and that our three-dimensional reality will actually manifest if we start to create our thoughts and our feelings, and we engineer them to how we want to become and who we want to be. So it makes sense to start priming our bodies with high levels of intention, writing down the things we want rather than the things we don't, and starting to let go of these negative emotions and start to offload all the burdens of stress and anxiety. Now, if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button, tap that bell notification so then you know that you won't miss a beat with any of these videos. I release 3 videos every month, so make sure you stay tuned for those. And if you have any comments, make sure you drop them below. I treat them all very personally and will respond to them and appreciate them so much. But as always, guys, be a better version of yourselves, and peace out.